Penn Teller Theater in Las Vegas, Nevada, here's our host, Allison Hannigan.
Welcome to Penn and Teller Fool Us. We're here to see some of the best magicians in the world try to fool two of magic's finest, Penn and Teller. Anyone who pulls it off earns a spot in their long-running Vegas show. And now, the magicians with the strength of two men and the voice of one, Penn and Teller! It's time to meet our first potential fooler.
My name is Elliot Zimet. I'm an illusionist, and I'm from the Bronx in New York City. Coming to my show is an experience. It's high energy, there's beautiful women, there's exotic birds, St. Jemima's magic. I used to tell the promoters never to announce that I'm an illusionist at the show, so when I walk on stage and look like a music artist, people would think I'm going to sing, and the microphone didn't work, so I threw it in the audience, and in midair, it changed into a bird. The routine I'm doing for this show is a classic of magic, but I added in lots of surprises. There's always possibility of messing up, but I just hope to impress Penn and Teller with my style of magic.
Prefers not to be introduced as a magician or illusionist, so please welcome this guy, Elliot Zimet.
Got a delivery. Sign here.
You know, they say that seeing is believing. But is it? You know, right now, I feel like I'm flying. But am I? And then I spot this girl in the crowd, and I noticed my feet are still planted here. Man, she looks like a heartbreaker. You know, a little dangerous. Hi, Allison.
That's incredible. So you're sort of like part magician, part rock star.
Trying to figure it out myself.
I think it's working, whatever it is. It's really, really entertaining.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So where do you get your inspiration from?
Yeah, like you said, I love concerts. You said rock star. I love concerts, hip-hop, rock, whatever it is. I'm a big Usher, Kanye West, Rihanna fan. So the look, the lights, the costumes, the energy, the connection with the audience is most important.
That's so cool.
So that's kind of my thing.
Yeah. I think the boys are done with their chit-chat.
Elliot,
Yes.
my new friend. Really good. We love the fact that everybody who does origami usually uses, swords, which are completely non-motivated, unjustified, out of the blue, It's just no reason for it. Using the broken mirror and the pieces looks great. It really is a really, really good idea. We know this theater inside out, and we know it so well that we know your trick is harder than people at home may think it is. People at home may think, well, this is a big theater in Vegas. It is probably maggoty with trapdoors. There's probably trapdoors everywhere on that stage. And we happen to know that on that stage, there is one gigantic trap door that you can bring a car in and out, but it's not sneaky at all. You can't do anything on it. So you did that without trap doors. So what you actually did was harder than many people at home may think. We know the whole layout of this and know how fast you moved around. So once we've eliminated trap doors, which is what everybody else would think it is, there's really only one place at one time you could have done it, and we know what that is, but it was a great switch.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, so you're confident that you didn't fool Penn and Teller, but you certainly entertained us all.
I'm so happy.
Yes. Well,
What a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Okay, it's great, man.
Thank you, Elliot Zimet, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. More magic on the way, but first, let's catch our breath. More Fool Us after this. Welcome back to Penn and Teller Fool Us, where magicians try to hoodwink our in-house Houdinis. Let's meet our next trickster.
My dad inspired me to have a career in magic. He did these homemade movies. He would call them crazy shots, and they all had a magical quality to them. They were kind of practical jokes, and sometimes I was the butt of the joke. I do the cups and balls routine that involves the element of sound. The steel balls came about because I found a steel ball bearing in my dad's toolbox. The magicians were impressed by the fact that I was fooling them with sight and with sound at the same time. Magicians, they're not often fooled because they know the secrets. And what you do is you sort of try to use that information against them. Fooling other magicians was a way of carrying on my father's life.
Please welcome Paul Gertner.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Allison, would you mind joining me at the table? I have a trick that you've never seen before, and I want you to see it up close.
I would love to.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, Penn and Teller, it's a pleasure to be here, and I brought something special to show you. It might even look a little familiar, because I brought a deck of marked cards. You see, Allison, Penn and Teller know an awful lot about marked cards, and they would tell you that, of course, most magicians mark the cards on the back. However, I mark them a little differently. I mark them on the edge. Yeah, see, you can see on the edge of the deck, it's like a little pattern, like a barcode pattern. There's information there, you just don't know how to read it. And I'm gonna teach you right now.
Oh, thank you.
Now, I actually marked each card with this permanent marker. And that's important because each card has a unique code on it, but it's permanent, and I can't alter it or change it in any manner. Now, if you take a look at the cards, Allison, I want you to confirm for everybody that all the cards are mixed up. In other words, they're not all the red cards here and black cards here.
Yes.
It's a shuffled pack of cards, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to begin by actually having you select a card.
Okay.
So now this works with any card in the deck. So I want you to choose one at random, so just say stop as I riffle the pack.
Stop.
Okay. Look at the card. Remember the name of the card. Okay? And we'll let Penn and Teller see it. I'm going to place it in the pack. And normally at this point in a card trick, the magician squares up the deck and shuffles the card. Right, guys? Yeah, that's Magic 101. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give these cards what we call an unshuffle. Now, it's the opposite of a shuffle. In fact, if you take a close look right here, I'm going to show you that you can see it looks like a shuffle, it sounds like a shuffle, but it's actually an unshuffle. And if you watch the marks on the edge of the deck, you'll see it's starting to read unshuffled 4 times on the side of the pack. See? Because I've actually unshuffled these cards into 4 different groups. Hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds, the 4 suits in the deck. Yeah. But if I give the cards another unshuffle, just like this, and you can see when I give the cards an unshuffle, it looks like a shuffle, it sounds like a shuffle, but it's not. That's an unshuffle. And in fact, take a look, it's now starting to read unshuffled 2 times on the side of it. Because I've now separated all the high cards from all the low cards. Yeah. But it gets even more interesting if I give the cards one more unshuffle. And if I do it, I want you to stare at the edge of the deck and see if you can tell the moment that these cards become unshuffled. Yeah. Oh, but Allison, if it says unshuffled, I have to prove it. Remember in the beginning I showed you they were all mixed up? Yeah. Take a look at them now, because from the ace through the king of hearts, of clubs, of diamonds, of spades, it's a completely unshuffled deck of cards. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. Now, oh, wait. There's one minor detail. In the beginning, you selected a card.
Yeah.
And it's somewhere here in this unshuffled deck. Now, I could look for your card face up, but they're all in sequence, perfect order. That wouldn't be too difficult to find, and besides, it probably wouldn't fool Penn and Teller. But if I found your card face down, it would be a little more impressive. For the first time, tell me and everyone else, what was the name of your card?
The king of spades.
If I give the cards one more unshuffle, and if I rearrange almost every card in the pack, except for the top and bottom cards, I think I can hit it. And I did. There it is, your king of spades. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. Penn and Teller. Yes. Penn, I think it's pretty clear at this point. I can find any card in this deck I want to find. And I can also put these cards in almost any order I want them. Look, if I give them one more unshuffle, take a look at now. The cards have been separated, all the red cards and all the black cards. So there's really only one final question to answer, and that is, did I fool Penn and Teller? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Gertner. Whoa, that was incredible. Oh my God. Now, that is a trick that you know Penn has asked you about or read your book about?
That's the tricky part. Penn bought my book a number of years ago to learn that trick. In fact, I saved his email. Aww. I still have his email.
Oh, that's so cool. So you did a trick that you know Penn knows.
Yes, that's true, but there was a little twist at the end that I think might have made them smile.
Okay, and now how do you come up with, like, the little change? Are you just, like, driving down the street and you're like, wait a second,
No,
I got it?
That took about 10 days of thinking and about another week of preparation and then another week showing it to the top sleight of hand artists in the world, okay, on video to say, is this gonna work?
Yes.
Keep my fingers crossed here, I don't know.
All right, that was a wonderful performance. Let's see what Penn and Teller think.
Okay.
Gentlemen, with the notebooks.
I want to say first, before we get to the hard part, I am a huge fan of Paul Gertner's, huge fan.
Penn, did you hear him? You were were deliberating, but he saved your email that you wrote him years ago.
Well, I did buy the book from him and worked forever, and I'm not going to even give one word of how that's done because he knows that I read the book, he knows I worked on it, and I think he also knows I failed. I never got good enough at it to perform it. But I'm not dead yet. Okay. I'm going to keep working. So it's only the ending we're talking about. When the Penn Teller comes into view at the end, it kind of blew our minds. And we think it's the same deck of cards he started with. I'll also go out with that. We don't think he did anything big and gross on that, even though he's got a table the size of an apartment.
Yeah, that's true. I could have.
We don't think he did anything there. So we then have two choices for what he did, and I'm going to ask this in two different ways. One is, can we look at the cards?
Can you mean look at the cards that
You used, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they'll tell you something, but not all of them. Sure.
Because we think, I'll tell you before this.
Look at Teller's face.
Well, it says Penn
Ben
Teller
is inspecting the props.
pretty clearly, and if we do that, and we do that,
Teller looks
we get
very
nothing,
excited.
and we do this.
Hello.
You know, actually, it does. We did learn something from this deck. I don't know if you can see the angle on this, Paul, but if you look, I don't want to screw up your whole deck, but if I do a shuffle like this, I want you to just watch the edge. I think you'll see it come into focus. It says, Paul Gertner, you fooled us. Can you see that? Can you see that? You have to get the exact right angle. Can you see the right angle? Amazing. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Ken.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Gertner.
Paul Gertner.
That's one fooler already, and we have more magicians on the way. Can lightning strike twice tonight? Come back and find out. Welcome back to Penn and Teller Fool Us. We've already had one successful fooler. Is there another in the house? Let's find out as we meet our next magician.
I always knew I was never going to be a serious magician. Far too uncoordinated and not attractive enough. Play to your strengths. Always play to your strengths. My interest in magic comes largely from my great uncle. At family get-togethers, he would come by and eat fire. I'm from Toronto, Canada. What are Canadian people like? I've tried to do a little bit of good in the world. I do a show called Mosquitoes Suck. We raise money for people in Africa who are suffering with malaria. If I could fool Penn and Teller, I will politely apologize because that is the Canadian way.
Joined by 5 randomly selected members of our audience, please welcome Matt Disero.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Normally you see psychics on TV, these fake psychics on TV. And they know girls' phone numbers, they know lottery numbers, they know social insurance numbers. I've actually chosen to direct my fake psychic powers to knowing one thing and one thing only. I know the color of these people's underwear. It's okay if you're not wearing any, man. We'll sort that out. Don't worry about it. So look, I'm gonna give you each a card. And on this card, I would like you to write down the color of your underwear. But you gotta have some fun with it, okay? So take the card. You can write down anything you like, but have some fun with it. So if you're wearing white, don't write just white. White would be kind of boring, you know? So instead, be creative. You know, you could write marshmallow, you know? Or maybe instead of white, you might write cloud, you know? If you're wearing black, don't write just black. Black would be boring. Instead, maybe you would write like coal, you know? Or maybe you'd write midnight, something hot, something sexy, you know? Lace, something like that. Brown is not a color, sir, just so you know, okay? You can't have that. So have as much fun as you like. Write it down. When you're finished, hold the card up to your chest so I can't see what you've written. That's very important. So write down whatever you like. Have as much fun as you want, but never let me see what you've written. In a minute, I'm going to try and be less like a psychic and more like a poker player who knows a little bit of magic. I'm going to try and figure out whose underwear belongs to who and who's lying, who's telling the truth, combining a little bit of the science of body language and a little bit of magic. So when you're finished, I'll take your pens. Thank you. How you doing there, sir? Writing a book? Nope, you got it good. Now, if you would take all of your cards, pass them down to the gentleman on the end, okay, sir? So you get them, take all the cards, pass them down to the gentleman on the end. All right, just pass them down. Look at you having a little peek at the cards there, sir, hey? Give him a shuffle so I don't know the order. I'll turn my back. Give him a shuffle. I don't want to know whose underwear belongs to, so shuffle, 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 and let me know when you've done that. Have you done that?
Yep.
Excellent, I'll take the cards. We'll see what we got. Somebody here wrote down eggshell. Sexy, sexy. Somebody wrote down tangerine. Meow. I like it. Somebody here wrote down midnight, kind of middle of the road. Somebody wrote down snow. Cha-cha-cha. Somebody wrote down ocean blue. If that's yours, I'll myself, sir. That's hilarious. So like a poker player, I'm going to try and figure out who's lying, who's telling the truth, whose underwear belongs to who, and I'll do that just by saying the word on the card. So when I say the word, what I want you to do is always answer in the affirmative. Always say, that's my underwear. Never tell me it's not your underwear. Always say, that's my underwear. I'll try and figure out who's lying, who's telling the truth, okay? So we'll try it here. Eggshell.
That's my underwear.
I want it to be, no question. Eggshell.
That's my underwear.
Possibly, she closed her eyes, maybe a sign. Eggshell.
That's my underwear.
Ooh, maybe. Eggshell.
That's my underwear.
Nice. Eggshell.
That's my underwear.
Look at the smile on your face, sir. I'm going to give you the eggshell. Don't tell me if I'm right or wrong. Just hang on to it. I do like this one. Tangerine. Let's try it here. Tangerine.
That's my underwear.
Nice. Tangerine.
That's my underwear.
Oh, think we might have a winner. Tangerine.
That's my underwear.
Possibly. Tangerine, sir.
That's my underwear.
You could be wearing two pair. Tough to say. I'm not sure, but I'm going to give you the tangerine. Don't tell me if I'm right or wrong. Just hang on to it. We'll try it here. Midnight. I'll start right back over here, looking at you. Midnight.
That's my underwear.
Possibly. Let's check with you again. Midnight?
That's my underwear.
Now you blinked. That's tough to say. Midnight?
That's my underwear.
No, I'm not sure. I'm going to give you the midnight. Now look, finally I have snow and I have ocean blue. Either way, it's not working out well for you, big guy. People are going to talk. Well, but I'm going to go with my gut on this one. I'm going to give you the snow and I'm going to give you the ocean blue. Now look, I gave you each a card. If I gave you the card that you wrote on, if I gave you the card that corresponds to the underwear you're wearing, please return to your seats now.
Do you know how everybody picks their underwear?
I know a little bit about everyone. I know the intimate secrets of everyone in the audience, yes.
Does that ever go horribly wrong?
I once had an audience member say, you know, I'm just not wearing any.
Oh.
And then they've turned with their back to the crowd and opened up their fly in their pants to actually show me their underwear, which, you know, for the effect goes wrong, but for me personally, it was fantastic.
Well,
I enjoyed that.
Why you still do the trick.
Yeah, it's actually what I hope for all the time now. It's my dream job.
Let's see how Penn and Teller are doing.
Yes. I wonder how they'll manage with this.
I know. Can you guess their underwear?
Well, if I let that secret, there are secrets,
Yeah.
and then there are secrets.
Right. All right.
Oh, you know, this is an effect that goes back, I think, starts out mostly as part of the religious act of spiritualism. You would be given an object, and you'd be able to tell who it belonged to because the spirits of the dead would tell you. Well, it's not that. Spirits of the dead did not tell you. Also, you don't have someone in the audience flirting with the people, asking them, oh, by the way, what color is your underwear? Which is a great pickup line, by the way. Try using it. And those also are real people from the audience. But one of the things we ask ourselves as magicians, we ask ourselves, if we had real magical powers, what would we want to do? You are the only one who's answered that question from my heart. If I had real magical powers, I would want to do your psychometry, whether it's pseudo or whether it's real. If I had magic powers, they would be yours, Matt. They would be yours.
Thank you, and that is why you guys are the best. Totally busted me out on that.
So you're satisfied?
Yeah, oh, of course.
Okay.
Thank you very
did
much,
not
guys.
fool them.
Thank
but
you.
you entertained us all.
Oh,
Thank
for
you
sure.
so
Thank
much.
you.
It was so nice to meet you. Ladies, Matt Disero. More amazing magic when we return. Welcome back to Penn Rokas. Let's meet our next illusionist.
My name is Rokas. I'm from Lithuania, and I'm a holder of the World Guinness record for the highest throw of a single playing card. Lithuania is a small country. The population is only 3 million people. There are not a lot of magicians. I would say from 5 to 7. Maybe when I come back, it will be 8. When I was 14, I didn't really have friends, so I learned magic as like a hobby. It was very hard to learn magic in Lithuania because we didn't have magic shops. But when I was 16, I knew that magic is going to be my career, and now I'm here. Yeah! I hope I would inspire Lithuanian kids to pursue their dreams.
Our next performer comes from a country with only 5 working magicians. Well, 4 since he's here now. Please welcome Lithuanian magician Rokas.
Hello, Mr. Penn. Hello, Mr. Teller. Hello, Las Vegas. My name is Rokas, and I have always wanted to make people feel better. I told this to my teacher, and she said, Rokas, you should be a doctor. As you can see, I failed. But wherever I go, I bring an X-ray machine to remind me not to give up on my teacher's dreams for me. Actually, it is an amazing machine. It has many features, and one of them is I can see through my body. And if I snap my fingers, watch what happens. I will need this if I fool those guys, and this if I don't. But for now, I need a deck of cards. Thank you. I need an amazing volunteer, so please give a big round of applause to Allison Hennigan. Hello, Allison. Hi. Allison, please confirm that all the cards, they're not the same. Are they different, yes?
Yes.
Good. Now, Allison, when I riffle through the cards, all you have to do is just say stop anytime, okay?
Stop.
Here?
Yes.
Okay, this is a card, you stop that, okay?
Okay.
Everybody, please remember it. And Allison, draw something very unique in the center of the card.
Okay.
The reason why Allison is doing this is because I told her to. Now, this is your signature, okay? And in magic, every move creates a different kind of an effect. For example, this magical move makes all the cards appear on the floor. This effect was discovered by Isaac Newton in 1687. Thank you for getting the joke, I appreciate that. Allison, don't worry about the cards, okay?
Okay.
Because we have an X-ray machine, so let's take another deck of cards. Allison, take the cards, take it out from the box, okay? Please shuffle the cards. Make sure they're all different. Throw it away, no problem. Yeah. Shuffle the cards, that's perfect.
Guys, stop looking at me. Oh.
Oh, no. Can I have the cards? Okay, so Allison, your card, your signed card seems like it would be very easy for me to find your card, but it's fullest. So let's make your card look like every other card in this deck. Thank you. Now, Allison, in a minute, again, your card goes somewhere in the middle, okay? And in a minute, I will have you to hold the cards like this.
Okay.
Okay, so please hold your left hand like that and cover it with your right hand, please.
Okay.
In a minute, I'm going to do a magical move. Watch. Your card jumped under your elbow. But it didn't stop there. Because it jumped into my pocket, and inside my pocket, I have nothing but my wallet. And it's empty with an exception. I have an envelope here. And Allison, could you please open it? Because there's something inside that might put a smile on your face. Just hand me the cards,
okay.
yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Ah.
I know what what you're thinking. Because we're already warmed up, let's put the card into the most impossible place in this entire room, okay? Again, your card goes somewhere in the middle, and a watch. Did you feel anything?
No.
Say yes.
Yes.
There's something in Allison's stomach. Allison, could you please stand on the sign that says stand here? Just sign the sign.
Sure.
Okay, please hold your hands just like this. Perfect. And when I tell you to, make 2 steps to your left. Say yes, Rokas.
Yes, Rokas.
Okay, perfect. Are you ready?
It's a good thing you're attractive.
Okay, thank you. Do it. I like making people feel better, and I like making people feel happy. And sometimes, things that makes us happy surprise us from inside. Ready? Watch. Is this your car?
That is my card! Rokas, everybody! Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. And that is my
Oh,
card.
no, that's for eBay, sorry.
So you actually told me earlier that part of the reason that you learned English so well is because of magic. Is that true?
We had English lessons at school, but I was just too lazy. And I had no motivation for that. And I got this magic magazine. I was like, I want to read this. So I had my dictionary in a magic magazine, and I was just translating every word of an article, and this is how I learned English.
That's great. Did it actually?
It was 2 days ago, by the way.
All right, well, it's time to go to the boys. Let's see what they think. Gentlemen.
When you do this act, do you do it also in Lithuanian?
In Lithuanian? Yes.
In the language, yeah?
Yes.
I'd love to hear that. Do a little bit of it in Lithuanian.
Okay. Labas vakaras, ponios ir ponai, labas vakaras, Pennai, labas vakaras, Telleri, ir labas vakaras, Las Vegasai.
Very nice. Very nice. So, boy, it's a great act. It's great to see card to wallet where it comes not out of the inner pocket, but out of the outer pocket. That's a great twist on that. Makes it much more deceptive to others. We also love seeing you do film to life. Nice to see it done with a big, in a big way like that. The thing that we might have, we might be right on and we might not, is...
Why don't you just not and just give him the trophy?
I know,
He's so sweet.
He is so sweet.
He's really cute. I bet people would love to come see him.
All of that is true.
Give it to him. Come on.
Okay, well, maybe we're wrong on this.
Yeah, just
But you know, a lot of times, the most innocuous things a magician does, the things that absolutely don't matter, have nothing to do with the trick, may be the whole crux. Like just when you take a, you know, I take that pencil and put it down on top of that screen, or you take a notebook and put it over here like this. You take a card and place it on top of an X-ray machine. You put one thing over here, one thing over there. Doesn't mean anything unless you know, and then it means everything. And I hope we're wrong.
I hope you're wrong too.
I
Does
hope
that
you
mean
are,
anything?
but they're not.
Oh,
You're right.
So you didn't fool them, but you certainly are so charming and wonderful, and oh, I love you. All right. Thank you, Rokas. Not enough for you? How about a trick by our very own Penn Teller? Believe me, you don't want to miss it, so stick around. Here's a trick we've played on you. We've secretly saved the best for last. Please welcome Penn and Teller.
30 years ago, we were on a whole season of Saturday Night Live. And it was that season, 1986, not very memorable, but that is the season that got the most complaint letters they'd ever gotten in the history of the network. And it wasn't the whole season. It just happened to be one particular show. And it wasn't just one particular show, it was one particular bit. And we happened to be there for that. As a matter of fact, it was our bit. We got the most complaints that the network had ever gotten in the history of the network with a trick. Thank you. And it's a little perplexing why we got that many complaints on this, because it's a simple sleight of hand trick you may have seen a zillion times. You took it's a rope trick, and it's done with sleight of hand. It's just a, well, it's a cut and restored rope. We just cut it in half like this. And then we cut it again, each of the pieces off like that, and each of the pieces off like that, and we threw it into the audience, and then with a little bit of mumbo jumbo, we restored that rope completely, and then threw the rope into the audience. Now that was the most complaints they've ever gotten on that net. Of course, we didn't do it exactly like that. We used a slightly different thing besides the rope, but it was the exact same trick. We did this is our California king snake. This is Elsie, our California king snake. I don't want to frighten anybody there, but if you're okay with snakes, you can see that he's a real snake. Now, what's funny about this is there's a lot of stuff that's political and sexual. They do drug stuff, they do racial stuff, but this got the most complaints they ever got. We just took our California king snake, just like we took the rope. And as you can see, Elsie's very, very active. And we just took our same switchblade, and then we just cut her in half, just like that. And then we cut off each of the pieces, just like that. And we cut off the other piece, just like that, and threw that into the audience. And then after a little mumbo jumbo, we just totally restored her until she was completely okay. And then we threw that. No, just kidding about that. And people complained about this and said even if they knew it was a trick, it could still give people ideas. Now, what I find so interesting is 2 months later, we were on and we did a trick where we put Teller in a water tank, completely submerged him, and within the plot of the trick, he drowned. I was doing a card trick, I screwed it up, he drowned, and the producer asked us to have Teller come out at the end and wave and show that he really was okay. We didn't do that. And then at the end of the show, where the whole cast comes out and waves, Teller wasn't there. We just left him dead. And when we killed Teller on the show, we got no complaints at all. So please don't write in about this. The snake is fine, and so is Teller, as though you cared. There she is right there. See? There you go. You like animals? You like animals, don't you? You say hi to Elsie.
Hi, Elsie.
Yeah.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, there she is.
All right, well, that's it for tonight. Set your alarms for next week or just leave your TV on until then. Good night.
Good night.